Awesome. What's up, guys? RZ Jones 18 coming at you with a very late video, but I think we're gonna make this a tradition now. Every summer we're gonna do the summer haul trilogy. So this is part one. Part two will be in the late June, early July, and then the finale will be late July into early August. So that'll be the encompassing of this three-parter. So part one is from the end of May into this week, beginning of June, and we have a lot to go through. I acquired a new piece to the Origins collection. I have updates on the Origins collection, but I've also been acquiring other pieces as well. Now, as you can see, over here, I got myself a new shelf recently, and it is now housing the Masterverse collection that I have now started. I did a Power of Grayskull that's misnumbered. I will fix that. But I am now doing Masterverse mixed with Masters of the Universe Classics. In that video, I talked about a big piece in my collection, which is the Masters of the Universe Classics 2-pack of Flying Fist He-Man and Terraclaw Skeletor. They are the He-Man and Skeletor in my collection currently on the Masterverse shelf. My 40th anniversary He-Man Skeletor are on a what I call my favorite things shelf. Everything that involves like DC, Marvel, superheroes, all that. But they're on that shelf as well because they're my two favorite pieces of my Masters collection. Two of my favorite pieces, not all of it. But I am also now diving in the classics. This is something I never thought I would do, simply because classics figures are always super, super expensive. But I bought the 2-pack of He-Man and Skeletor, and we'll go ahead and I'll do this one first now. I now own Buzzsaw Hordak from the Masters collection. Let's get a good light here. Here he is. He looks absolutely fantastic. These are definitely different than what I'm used to. This is when Mattel was very much in. Well, this is also Four Horsemen, obviously, and I actually watched Pixel Dan's video on this dude in particular, and when people talk about this version of Hordak, they didn't think they would get him simply because you're using a lot of the original Hordak figure, except this time the chest pops open and you have the buzzsaw. I find it funny that both versions of Hordak that started in my collections were both Buzzsaw Hordak, and now I have Buzzsaw Hordak and Classics as my Hordak stand-in for my Masterverse stuff, because I like the Masterverse one, but I've seen so many complaints about the arm popping off and not being able to stay in socket, obviously, and so I wanted a better one, and they had this guy for $45 at Toy Department, and I was like, well, I'm gonna grab that instantly, and yeah, love him. This is now I'm officially working on a Horde and Princess of Power collection, as you will see as we get further along in this video. But you need a Hordak in order to start that collection off. So now I have her Power Buzzsaw Hordak from the Classics collection, and he comes with the white bowcaster, which to me kind of finishes off the look of this guy. So yeah, Buzzsaw Hordak. Very happy to have him. He stands tremendously. But we're going to stay away from Masterverse and that stuff for a second. Earlier last week, the the ordering went up for this guy. This is the Origins Extendar. This is my first time ever ordering a Creations exclusive figure from Mattel, and super smooth, went by so easily. And he was here, I ordered him on a Thursday, and he got to me on Saturday, so it was really a 2-day endeavor. I get very nervous when I order anything online, so I am constantly checking, making sure everything's going well, and this went by super smooth. I love this figure. However, mine has an issue, specifically with this arm. If you barely look at this thing, it'll pop off. Now you're like, well, that's Origins. Yeah, but as you can see, it's not really in that hinge very well. I have to turn the arm, push it down, and then rotate, and then it'll stay in place. But as you can see, it just pops out very easily if I move it anyway. So it's kind of static, unfortunately. And I've been looking like in the body and stuff to see if there's anything covering up the plastic cover or anything like that, and I can't find anything, unfortunately. I gave him Cronus's blaster because I wanted him to be holding something else than in my opinion, this generic red piece of plastic that he comes with. I know the classics version comes with a javelin, and he's a knight, so I think the javelin would have been a better piece. But yeah, this is incredible to finally add one of my favorite original vintage figures back into the collection through Origins. The only two pieces that actually do like the actual full extending things are his neck and his torso. You can still split him at the torso, but all the extra extender pieces are just pieces that you attach on, much like the classics version. And I'm so happy to have him. And he kind of finishes off my my Origins collection. I'm so deep into Masterverse right now that the only figure I really want now in an Origins form would be Too Bad. Hopefully at Comic-Con this year, we get the announcement of him for hopefully a late 2024 sale. Night Stalker is in June. I am debating on getting on Night Stalker simply because I already have all the vehicles. I know the collector's out now, obviously, but I have all the main vehicles of Motu in my collection. There's not one I'm really missing. So it's like, do I really need basically just a straight repaint of Stridor with the Snake Mountain base? Not really. I really don't even display anything in Snake Mountain. Snake Mountain's closed. Same thing with, obviously you can see Grayskull. So I have no real reason to do that. So I kind of am just staying away from that. I'm clearly looking out for Too Bad, and I am also on the hunt still for now Spikor and Whiplash in Origins, and I am not going to pay exceeding amounts of money for those two figures in particular, simply because I am not that present on getting it. The vintage figures work, again, fantastic in the Origins line, so they fit, they stay. I mean, in that video I showed off the Too Bad figure, and he's a complete Too Bad. So it's like I'm not missing anything on either Too Bad, Spikor, or Whiplash, and so it doesn't really affect the collection at all. And so I'm not that pressed on finding their Origins counterparts. I do have one thing I'll be direly looking for the rest of the year, and I don't know if I can get some help through the comments section, but I have a slime pit. I have had this slime pit for almost 4 years, and it is very much a incomplete slime pit. It's missing one crucial piece. It's missing the skull. It's missing the skull. You put the slime in to let it drain down on the figure. Everything else is with it. It looks good. I just need a skull. And I've looked on eBay, I've looked on Mercari, and people want $75 to $100 for the skull. And I know that the Great Ohio Toy Show, the one that happened in Xenia, that just happened earlier this year, is happening again in October. So my goal is in October to go to the Great Ohio Toy Show and hopefully bargain with somebody for just a skull for the slime pit. I just need the skull. And then I am content with my slime pit, and I'd have a slime pit. I don't have to worry about an Origins one if we get one. We know we're getting the Snake playset for the Snake Men, whoop-de-doo, as I always say. But I would love to find a Fright Zone. But that's pretty much it. Like, every other character I want, I have. Like, everybody on my Heroic Warriors table are all Origins. Like, there's not a single non-Origins figure in this display. And so I really don't need to look for anybody else. It's really weird. Like, this has been like I'm looking for these two, looking for this one, looking for that one. Now I don't have to say that anymore. Like, I have everybody. I have the vehicles, I have the two play sets. Eternia would have been the creme de la creme for my Origins collection, but alas, I have missed it. And Toy Department and the ever gets one again, I will not hesitate and I will buy it. Depending on where I will put it, I'm not sure. But right now, I know that if I ever see an Eternia again, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going to get Eternia. But for the time being, Origins is done. I want to focus on Masterverse. I'm loving the Masterverse toy line, and that's where I want to stick with. So, leading into that, I have gotten so many male figures for Masterverse. I really wanted some female representation in my Masterverse line, and boy did I get it. I am missing one female character that I really, really, really want, and that would be Catra. I am going either two ways on Catra. They have the classics version of Catra at Toy Department. I can also order the Masterverse Catra through Big Bad. I kind of want the classics one. I'm really liking classics design. They also have classics bow, because we don't know when we're gonna get. We don't even know if we're gonna get Masterverse bow. So to have a classics bow would be pretty cool for the Princess of Power line. But to get into Princess of Power real quick, we're gonna start off with that. A lot of these figures are extremely hard to find, but since it's Masterverse and this line doesn't sell well, I got these figures at such a good price, it's not even funny. The most expensive figure in this lot was when you see him, you'll see him. He was the most expensive figure. It was the Mattel Creation Snout Spout. He was the most expensive. Everybody else was ranging from 8 to 15. It's insane. Some of these figures are so obscure, you can't find them. And I got them all sealed, brand new, never been opened, and excuse me, makes me so happy. So with that said, Hordak needs a spellcaster. So I got Shadow Weaver, and her and the other one I have with some soft goods is the Sorceress. I think use soft goods the best because it incorporates into the figure and it's not just a cape. And so like you put it around her hands and she looks so good. So good. The use of translucent here on the staff, the fireball effect I think is good. All of her nails are painted black. I think the head sculpt turned out very nicely. Very, very, very pretty figure. I love the horse symbol on the dress. And much like Orko, she's on that ball joint here, but she's also got articulation underneath. Very snake-like. Like the idea of the snake kind of body underneath. But yeah, Hordak needed Sorceress. Hordak needs his Sorceress, so I got Shadow Weaver, and it makes me very happy. And Leech is out, obviously. And I really want the Leech figure because that Leech figure also looks gorgeous. And that'll continue on with my Horde. They also have Classics Mantenna based on animation at Toy Department as well. And so I'm like, am I just going to go straight in on Classics for my Princess of Power / Horde and not really worry about focus on Masterverse? It's kind of insane to think about like doing a meshing, but they all work so well together, like it doesn't bother me as much. Now to go from that into a Sunman figure, this is, without a doubt, my favorite version of this character that I own. Because I own the Origins one. I do not own a vintage one. I don't think I will ever own a vintage one simply because I like these two characters, but not enough to continue on collecting the Origins variants of these characters. But I think we're only going to get these two specifically in this line. And that would be Pighead from Sunman. This is the best looking Pighead figure ever. This thing looks so cool. I love the translucent blue here on his mace. I think the shield is gorgeous with metallic pink and the purple. He comes with like this really cool like little blue snake left over here to like a pet or something. The head sculpt on this thing is so well done. And just look at the shading here on the skirt. Like the shading on the skirt is so well. I've never liked this character more, to be honest with you. I think this is one of my favorite figures in my collection now, simply because This pig head looks so good. So good. But if you have pig head, you need his arch enemy. And with that in mind, again, I own this figure in Origins, but I am telling you right now, this is my favorite version, again, of this character. And that would be Sunman. I'm going to get his accessories out of here for just a second so we can talk about just this figure. First of all, the wings on this figure are so cool. So they have hinge joints here on the back, so they can click up to here, and you can actually hear the click where they stop. But then they're also connected here at the back, so like you can angle these wings however you want. You can whatever you can think of for the wings, it works. And look at this wingspan all the way out. Look at that. That's insane. I think the head sculpt on this figure also looks really good. It's not even like a redo of the Clam Champ Revolution head sculpt. It's an original head sculpt. I think the armor on this figure looks really good. I think the gold looks tremendous on this figure, and I love the translucent yellow, like light translucent yellow here on the wings. His head can get up pretty decently for flying poses. I know Marvel Legends does the angel figures and figures with wings. These are the best wings on a figure I've ever seen, and they work so well. This one on this side is a little loose, like it doesn't have like that nice ratchet, but as long as you twist it around and make it work, it still functions. But I also love the skirt that he's wearing for his armor on the skirt. It looks so good, and the pinless joints on these masterverse figures, I honestly think, and we'll talk about it because I'm now starting to recollect specific things from Marvel Legends. I think the pinless joints look better on Masterverse than they do on Marvel Legends, in my opinion. And again, look at the shading here on the boots. It's just insane. And then on top of that, you get a more stylistic version of a spear with some detail here on the tip that looks really good. Some wrapping. And then look at the shield. That beautiful gold with a little bit of trim here around the middle. This looks awesome. But that is Sunman and Pighead. Two of my favorite pickups that I bought this past week, for sure, with these two. For sure. Now let's get back to Princess of Power. Now if I have Hordak, I need his equivalent, and that would be She-Ra. And this figure is very nice. Very nice. I'm not going to say I love this figure, but I do think she is very nice. I have qualms. I love the fact she comes with the shield version and the sword of protection, but I am going to nitpick just a little. Just a little. Her head's very heavy, and so trying to pose it around doesn't make her look most elegant on the shelf. And I'm going to be honest with you, the head sculpt on this one in particular, I wish the mouth was closed. It looks like she's gritting her teeth, which looks fine. And also, I think the paint on the face looks really nice. I just wish it was a more stoic face. She does come with an alternate head that's based on the toy when you put the tiara over on as a mask, and that mouth is closed. But I like this more open-looking one, and she's fine. She's not like I was going gaga over her, but of all of my female characters that I bought recently, she is my least favorite. But if I had Hordak, I had to have a She-Ra figure. I still think that the Origins one is better than this one, but that's just me. I think paint-wise this looks better, but I think aesthetically, face-wise, I think that looks better. I also wish the hair wasn't as rigid as it was and had more ply to it. I think the head sculpt would be a little bit easier to work with. But that's She-Ra. We'll save you towards the end. Here is our next Princess of Power, and this is one, again, I really wasn't planning on getting into the Princess of Power stuff on any line, But I recently watched the He-Man She-Ra special, which was fantastic, by the way. And so I'm very much into these figures now, and this is definitely a line I didn't think I would collect because it's never really been my thing. But these figures are awesome. I do not like the capes, unfortunately. I think they wrap too easily. The material is not the greatest. But that head sculpt on Frosta, and I love the fact that her thing spins. But when you look at the head, especially in the light, it catches that light and like it shimmers, man. It's incredible. Speaking of, we need a shimmer. But that's Frosta. We're getting down to our last three Masterverse figures. Here is one that has been eluding a lot of people. She's very hard to get. She's from an earlier wave in the original run of Masterverse, and I now have a proper version of her. Until I think we'll get a new Eternia version, but if we don't, I'm fine with it, and that would be Tila. And Tila looks absolutely fantastic. This is obviously from the moment where she finds out about Adam, and this head sculpt looks a lot better than the un-tiara head sculpt. She looks really pouty in that head sculpt, but she doesn't look pouty here. I love the shield. I think the sword came out looking really nicely with the silver. And again, the head sculpt looks tremendous. And she fits great in with my Masterverse figures. Obviously, because she's Masterverse, but she fits really good with my new Eternia stuff, which is what I mainly collect. But here is the other one that I absolutely love. I think this figure is truly gorgeous. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think this figure is gorgeous. And that would be the Revelation Sorceress. And just a gorgeous figure. I think the staff of... Who fell? Someone fell. It's fine. I think the staff of Zoar turned out terrific, but that head sculpt, man, is just so pretty. And I think, again, her and Shadow Weaver have the best usages of the cape, in my opinion. So that's Masterverse. Well, hang on, no, that's not true. I also got this big behemoth, and that would be Masterverse New Eternia, Mattel Creations exclusive Snout Spout, and I mean, what else is there to say? This thing is incredible. And look at the light piping. His eyes just glow a menacing yellow. This is my favorite version of Snout Spout compared to the Origins version. He looks so dope. He looks so cool. I'm very happy to have him in the collection. So those are all of my Masterverse figures. So let's get into X-Men. I am now collecting the Marvel Legends X-Men characters, specifically 97 and two movie figures. I have 3 of the 97, and I have the 2 movie figures that I wanted. I do want another version of one of the movie characters, but I'll be patient and get him when I can. So the first 97 figure we're going to talk about is the Magneto in his hero outfit, and the face sculpts on these figures are so good. The photoreal tech they're using, even on these figures in particular, are so well done. I love the way Magnus looks here. He comes with a bunch of hands. But I have to say, he's my least favorite of the bunch, unfortunately. One of my other figures in here has a really bad QC issue, but nothing compared. I think this figure looks good. I wish there was a bit more wash in the hair, but besides that, I think he looks awesome. Really, really, really cool figure. But that's Magneto. That's the Magneto I wanted, more over the traditional. Next is Cyclops from 97. And people have been complaining about both head sculpts. I think this looks perfect from 97. And this head sculpt has an optic blast that you can plug in. And again, I think that looks terrific. That's how I have him displayed on the shelf. He looks fantastic. And unlike other Jim Lee-esque Magneto Scott figures we have, none of the pouches or the bands are going to fall off the legs. They're all molded on. So that looks good. So that's Cyclops. Here is my QC issue figure, and the one I was most excited for, even though he doesn't have less screen time in the series, and that would be Bishop. And what I mean by QC issue is this. Oh, wait, did he fix himself? Because it's not popping out now. Never mind, it fixed itself. Sure. But, yeah, this figure looks awesome. The head sculpt looks terrific in particular. Looks really good. But that's Bishop. Big, chonky figure. Ugh. Excuse my nose. But that's Bishop. And now here, I know we're going through these really quickly, but you know, there's 2 other parts coming. We got time. Here are my 2 movie figures. So this is based off of Wolverine Origins, and I wish the head sculpt was a different version of this head sculpt, but I really don't care. This figure is absolutely terrific, and that would be Logan. I love this figure. Oh, but again, I will say this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. I think Masterverse does the pinless joints better than Marvel Legends, and I mean that wholeheartedly. They still can't commit to it because this figure still uses some pins in there. I think the first real pinless Wolverine is the 97 Wolverine, which I'm no longer looking for, but yeah, he looks terrific. But here, of the Marvel Legends figures, here to me is the MVP. I missed out on this figure on the initial release. I missed out on this figure on the 2-pack release. And I'm so glad I waited because he now has the proper pistols and he's no longer like this figure. I'm kind of jealous. I kind of want to get a second one for my brother because I know he'll love the figure. It is the Deadpool Legacy Marvel Legends Deadpool based on the movies. And I love this figure. I love this figure so much. I think he looks absolutely terrific. They fixed the gun issue, so now his guns can properly store in the holster. And also the paint on my belt buckle looks so good. But I don't understand why Marvel was so nick on the guns thing. DC is the same way. Like, they're just toys. Give them the guns. It's not that big of a deal. G.I. Joe, I mean, in the beginning of Classified, that was a big issue with G.I. Joe. Now look at them. They get pistols, shotguns, and sniper rifles all day long with removable magazines. Like, just let them use his pistols, and they are, and this figure looks terrific. He also comes with a little unicorn. But yeah, that's everybody. That is a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 14 new figures in the collection. Majority Masters, obviously. Masters first. Masters is my favorite. I didn't think I would touch Marvel again. I do have one quick thing to say before I go. Jungle Gyms, where I work, which I love. Hi. I bought Magneto and Cyclops. They were $35.99. After my discount, it was $60 for the 2 figures. I then went to GameStop to look and see if they had the Bishop still, and they did. But they also had the Wolverine and they had the Deadpool. All 3 of those figures were $24.99. $25. That means that for 3 figures, I could have bought the 2 figures from work, even with my discount. I think it's ridiculous the way pricing is working on these figures. I really do. And the fact that Masterverse figures on retail go for $22.99, $23.99, Marvel, your figures are good. They're not $40 good, in my opinion. They're $25 good, but they're not $40 good. And so I am no longer going to buy action figures. Now, other stuff, sure. But action figures, I'm not going to buy from my store anymore, which is crazy to say. Because again, I get a 20% discount. It's not worth it. It's still going to be $60 for 2 figures. I was looking at some of the other 97 stuff we have. We have Madeline Pryor, we have Nightcrawler, we have Executioner, Jean Grey, but it's still $35.99 a figure. And I got lucky in order getting Cyclops and Magneto. I came in with some extra cash, and so I was like, okay, sure. and so I'm glad I caved in and got them. But it's too much. So, but yeah, guys, that is part one of the summer haul for 2024. Let me know what you guys are finding in the wild, what you're collecting currently. Like I said, Origins is currently done. Working on Masterverse. You'll see more Masterverse stuff probably within the near future, depending on what finds and acquirings I have when we get back together later in the summer for part two of this. And part three, I'm hoping to have a big thing, hopefully, to end off the summer. Because like last summer we got the stuff for Castle Grayskull. I'm hoping to have that kind of level of excitement for you guys in the finale of the summer Paul trilogy. So until then, thank you guys very much for watching. Like, rate, subscribe, hit the comment section. Let me know what you're looking forward to in your summer collecting. What's your biggest line for the summer? And are you going to get Night Stalker in June? Let me know if you're a Masters collector. Are you in for that? Just let me know in the comment section down below. And until then, keep collecting. You have the power, and I will see y'all then. Bye, y'all. I didn't hit the button. Try that again. Bye.